We already know that Druid is one of the best healing classes in the entire game, but in this video I will also show you that Druid is very powerful in open world, and you can use it as a normal damage build for all PvE content. The build will offer tons of sustain and damage, while applying lots of boons and conditions that will help you solo pretty much anything you want without any issues. I will now show you the main gear setup for the build, and I will also leave in the description below some easier and cheaper options to get if needed. We are using a full set of Viper armor with Trapper runes. For the weapons we have Dagger, Torch as our main weapons, and we have Axe. All three of them will also be Viper. On the Torch we will put Sigil of Malice, and on the Dagger and Axe we will put Sigil of Earth. The order of the sigils here will make a difference, so try to leave them as they are. For the Trinkets we will use a full set of Celestial, and we will use Relic of the Fractal. In the description below you will find many related guides, including how to gear up any character from scratch and other related builds. That will be very helpful, and it will go along very well with this one, so make sure to check them out. For the traits we have Wilderness Survival 3, 1, 3, Nature Magic 2, 3, 3, and Druid 3, 3, 3. For the utility skills we have Healing Spring, Stone Spirit, Glyph of Alignment, Sharpening Stone, and the elite is Glyph of the Stars. Juvenile Forest Spider is our main pet, and our secondary is a Juvenile Blue Moa. We will use Koi Cake as our food, and Potent Master Tuning Crystal as our utility. Once more, in the description below you will find very useful information, like links for the location of those pets, and how to craft the Trapper runes. Now let's understand how the build works. And the main trait that will make this build possible to begin with is Eclipse, which is the Grandmaster trait in Druid. This will make your Celestial Avatar skills apply lots of conditions. Your auto attack will apply vulnerability, skill 2 will apply poison and blindness, skill 3 will immobilize, skill 4 will chill, and the most important one is skill 5, which will apply burning every pulse and give you a lot more burning at the end. Natural Balance will give us 3 benefits. It will increase the condition damage by 10%, condition duration by 10%, and decrease the damage we take by 10%. We will have this buff for 10 seconds every time we go in and out of Celestial Avatar, so you should have this buff with you most of the time. Blood Moon will apply bleeding on enemies that we disable or immobilize. It will also daze enemies in a radius around us when we go to Celestial Avatar, and daze counts as a disable, so just by going to Celestial Avatar we apply some bleeding. Glyph of Alignment will immobilize, and your Celestial Avatar skill 3 will immobilize and daze, so they will also apply some bleeding. We also get some extra damage from Wilderness Survival. Taste for Danger will increase our vitality by 120, and it will convert 7% of our total vitality into expertise, which is condition duration. The Master trait will increase our condition damage by 120, and since we are using Dagger Torch we get an additional 120, and on top of that we have the cooldown on the Dagger and Torch skills reduced by 20%. Poison Master will make our poison apply 25% more damage, and it will make your F2 skill from your pet apply some poison. The Rugged Growth trait will contribute a lot to your sustain, because it will give us a very decent amount of heals every second as long as we have protection, and we will have a few skills that will do that. First of all, Companion's Defense will give us protection as we dodge. Natural Vigor will make us dodge 25% more. The Grandmaster trait in Nature Magic will apply healing, protection, and vigor from our F2 skill. Stone Spirit will give us protection, and the F2 skill on the Blue Moa itself will give us even extra protection by default. So you will have a very high uptime of protection most of the fights, and you will get tons of heals because of this trait. From Nature Magic we will also get more heals. Lingering Magic is going to give us an extra 240 concentration, and it will make our regeneration applies 20% more heals. And we also have few sources for this. Rejuvenation will make our F2 skill apply regeneration, and then Wellspring will give us regeneration when we use our heal, and Healing Spring itself as a skill just by default without any traits will give us an additional regeneration, so they will work together very well and you will have a very high uptime of regeneration. And on top of that, when we apply regeneration we will get extra heals from the Master trait. Glyph of the Stars will give us heals every pulse. It will also give us stability and remove conditions when we use it outside of Celestial Avatar, and in Celestial Avatar it will give us even more heals per pulse, and it will give us stability, regeneration, and vigor, and if we have any downed allies around us it will also help res them. On top of that, the Druid skills themselves by default will give us a very decent amount of heal. Skill 4 will heal us every pulse. It will also give us might. Skill 3 is a very big heal. Skill 2 will remove conditions and heal, and even your auto attack is also a very decent heal. Even Glyph of Alignment, if you want to use it but in Celestial Avatar will give you a very decent amount of heals and remove conditions. And don't forget that from the Grandmaster trait in Nature Magic, we have our F2 skills will also give us heals. And if you have the blue Moa as a pet, by default, one of the skills the Moa will use on its own will also give us heals. Now let's explain how to use this build effectively. Spider will be our main pet, and the F2 skill from it will be very important. You can actually set it to auto attack, and this means the pet will use it anytime it's available on its own. To do that, you can just control right click. When you see a small arrow around the skill like this, just like your auto attack on your weapons, it means the pet will use it on its own. You can also of course disable it the same way by control right click again. Dagger Torch will be the main weapon we will be on most of the time. Celestial Avatar is your main source of damage and sustain, so anytime it's available, go to it immediately. Skill 5 is your most important skill and it is the one you will start with, but keep in mind that you have to be standing still for it to work properly. If you move while casting it, it will get interrupted. All the other skills can be used as you move. Also, skill 2 Seed of Life will apply poison and it's instant cast. So as we are using skill number 5, we can use 2 without getting interrupted. So when you are in Celestial Avatar, use 5 and 2 together and then follow up with 3 and 4, and once you are done, exit Celestial Avatar. Outside of Celestial Avatar, all of your utility skills will be very important, so keep using them whenever they are available. Use Glyph of the Stars only if you needed extra heals, cleanses, or stability, and the same of course goes for Healing Spring, your heal. All of your weapon skills are very good for damage, especially skill 5 and 4 on Torch. So again, just spam all of your weapon skills. The only reason we are using Axe is because sometimes you'll find yourself with multiple enemies surrounding you. This is when Axe can be very good because it will bounce between two enemies and it will give you might with every attack. Skill 2 will also spread axes in front of you in a fan and it will do a lot of bleeding, and skill 3 will do some decent damage. It will also apply bleeding, chilling, and weakness. So Axe is when you are surrounded by enemies around you, but otherwise if you are fighting a single mob or most of them are in front of you, then Dagger Torch is more effective. There are also other utility options here that can be useful based on the situation. Stone Spirit is mainly there for the extra sustain we get from protection. However, if you felt like your sustain is fine and you want more damage, you can remove it and you can use Sun Spirit instead. This will apply a lot of burning on the enemies and it will also give you a lot of might. Signet of the Hunt is good if you need the extra 25% movement speed, and in that case just leave it on passive all the time. If you needed stun breaks, you have Quickening Zephyr and Protect Me. Both of them will be very powerful, but I prefer Protect Me because it has a shorter cooldown and it will also give you a lot of barrier and protection when you use it. Also from your elite, if you don't need the sustain from Glyph of the Stars, then Entangle can be a good option because it will apply a lot of bleeding. It will also immobilize, which will trigger this rate and it will apply even more bleeding. Or you can use Strength of the Pack if you needed the extra stability from it. This build can also do tons of damage in group content if used properly. And since most of the time you will have a dedicated healer anytime you're doing fractals, strike missions or raids for example, we don't need nature magic and we can go more offensive and do more damage. In that case we will use skirmishing. And here we will have 1, 3, 3. Sharpened Edge will give us 33% chance to apply bleeding with our critical hits. Hidden Barbs will make our bleeding apply 33% more damage. And the Grandmaster trait will make our Fury apply 40% extra critical chance instead of the usual 25. And it will give us an extra 250 ferocity when we have Fury. The rest of the traits will be left exactly as they are. Also in the utility skills we will have Sun Spirit, Viper's Nest, Sharpening Stone, and the elite will be Entangle. If you want even more damage, then in that case remove your Celestial Trinkets and use Viper instead. However, I don't recommend this change in Fractals because you will still need a little bit of sustain even if you have a dedicated healer. But you can use Viper without any issues in raids and strikes. And to increase our damage even more, we can take Writ of Masterful Malice as our utility consumable. This will give us a lot of extra condition damage. Or if it was too expensive, you can use Writ of Land Malice instead. Your rotation in that case becomes, again, going to Celestial Avatar anytime it's available because it's your main source of damage. We will use 5 and 2 together immediately. After you use those two skills, you will use skill number 3 because it will immobilize in daze, which will apply some extra bleeding. So 5, 2, and then when you are done, use your 3. And sometimes when you're done, you will have 2 again. You can use it before you exit Celestial Avatar. And once you're out, just use all of your utility skills. Just save Healing Spring for the heals if needed, and use all of your weapon skills. And don't forget to make your F2 skill on auto attack so the pet can use it anytime it's available. Hunter's Tactics is one of the most important traits that will help you a lot with your damage. This will increase your damage by 15% 15% and increase your critical chance by 10% if you are hitting enemies from the side or from behind. So if you are standing in front of the enemy like this, it will not do anything. You will not benefit from the trait. But if you stand on the side like this, you will benefit from this trait and you will do a lot more damage. You will still also be in radius of your group to get the buffs and boons. So you just want to be a little bit off center. Don't be right in front of the enemy, just go a little bit to the side. Another change I recommend for group content is to use Glyph of Rejuvenation instead for the heals. That is especially the case in Fractals or any other fights that require a lot of movement, because sometimes in those cases healing spring can be a little unreliable. And don't forget, in the description below there are multiple links that are very useful overall and also related to this guide. I hope you enjoyed this build when you try it as much as I enjoyed making it. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you found this guide helpful, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a like to see more guides in the future. I will now leave you with some footage for this build in action. Thank you very much for watching and I will see you in the next guide.